Hey everyone, it is Sifra here with the first week of Season 10 of the SBL. Uh, Excited to be back. Good to be back. I was going to do a live com, but, naturally the pizza got here right as the battle started, so I kind of had to run down and take the pizza from the pizza guy at the top of my apartment complex, or at the floor of my apartment complex. I don't know what he'd be doing at the top of it. But I digress. Here we are. Postcoms are almost as good. We got a fun battle, but a fun season ahead of us, I think, too. I drafted this nice little rain pairing right here. Can you even see? You can't see my cursor. Okay. Well, I am circling. Oh, you can see when it goes over the buttons. Okay. Boop. 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 Um. Yeah, so we've got the Kingdra Pelipper Rain pairing here, along with a lot of interesting bulk. It should make for a pretty fun season, and one where uh, I'm trying to show that Dragonite is a good Pokemon. Is really one thing I really want to do with this. It's my Z user. Hoping I can make it shine. Got some cool sets I can run for it in the rain as well, like Hurricane and stuff, beyond the normal stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. This battle in particular was also a pretty good one. Quick rundown of the team. The Seismitoad, pretty standard defensive. Water Absorb is like a last ditch check for like a Belly Drum Aqua Jet Azumarill, because we guaranteed outspeed it. Dragonite is my designated Charizard Y check. As long as I keep rocks off the field. If I get rocks on the field, then I basically have to sack something off, and then it can be shoot, I got reconnected. We'll just work offline. Cool, awesome. I was kind of worried that might skip ahead or something weird, or I don't know. Doesn't make any sense when I say it out loud. So Dragonite's the check for Charizard Y, unless there's rocks up, in which case I sack something, and then it gets to be the check. Jirachi is the Kyurem Black check, and you will notice that Kyurem Black is not coming to this battle, so that kind of frees Jirachi up as the emergency check, or the oh god, I didn't expect to see Honchkrow check. So we'll see what happens there, but it basically becomes the designated sacrifice. And then the fun stuff. Incineroar is Scarf. Will outspeed everything on his team, guaranteed, hoping to make use of the sun to just blow some holes and stuff, particularly the two waters he's got, so that Scarf Modest Pelipper and Modest Spec Swift Swim Kingdra can clean pretty easily in the end. So let's get into it. I can't say I totally remember why I led Pelipper. I wish I could give you a really great answer. Realistically, I think I was looking at the fact that I don't switch into Nidoqueen and really wanted to start off not having to switch into Nidoqueen. So the Pelipper lead lets me outspeed it unless it's Scarf, which I don't see. But it would have let me outspeed it and hit it with a Hydro Pump for the KO. But he leads with Cobalion. And the smart move here is to switch out. But the fact that he led, and the fact that I'm faster if he's not Scarf, means that staying in I get to see one, is it Scarf? And then can I play around it differently? And two, I think this is Rocks. And if he doesn't get up rocks, then I can still use Dragonite as a really good Charizard check. So I'm going to stay in with Pelipper and click Hurricane, because he doesn't really want to take a Hurricane with much of anything. It's just a strong move. And we're going to get the hit, and he is going to go for rocks. So here, we got that right. We're just going to go for Hurricane again, and we'll take Cobalion. Good start. He goes to Charizard. Smart move by him getting up rocks early, because it makes it harder for my Dragonite to come in. Dragonite is heavily specially defensive invested too, I might add. So even like a hidden power ice after rocks wouldn't knock it out. So I can still use it to check it if I sack something off first. But at the same time, Seismitoad is a pretty good switch in here because I don't think he's clicking Solar Beam right off the bat. He does go for Dragon Pulse. And I can kind of stay in here. One from the Dragon Pulse damage. If he does go for Solar Beam, then I'll eat up my Rindo Berry, and I should live it, be able to switch back in on rocks later if I still need this to be an emergency check to a Belly Jet Azumarill. And I get rocks up, because this is my rocker. And rocks up against him means that either Charizard is heavily neutralized or he's going to have to defog, so I don't have to do that, and then I can use my Dragonite as much as I want to. So rocks are really good for me, and I'm going to go for them, and he's going to switch out to his Azumarill. And here I'm like, okay, I can live with this. This is my thing that is supposed to keep Azumarill from getting out of hand. So I know he's not going to be able to belly drum up through 2 Sludge Waves if he's an offensive variant. So I'm kind of forced here to stay in and click Sludge Wave. And I didn't run the calc, but that looks very AV to me with how little damage it took. And I'll just enjoy the chip on Azumarill. I'm fairly sure it's not going to belly drum up now, considering it's under half health. And I can go out into Incineroar, which I think should be okay after the Intimidate and the Sun if he does want to go for Aqua Jet. And I can just throw off a Thunder Punch, which is a little risky in case he does want to make a hard Nidoqueen switch, but I don't think that's his play unless he's getting really aggressive, and I don't think he needs to at this point. So I'm going to go for Thunder Punch, and we are going to take Azumarill. He goes into Nidoqueen. Okay, fair point. I don't switch into this, so my designated Kyurem Black switch in Jirachi becomes the designated sacrifice to Nidoqueen. And he's going to throw off the Earth Power and do a lot of damage. My voice cracked a bit there. It's going to do a lot of damage. I didn't calc it, but with how specially defensive my Jirachi is, I think that's reasonable Life Orb damage. Yeah, I think that would be reasonable Life Orb damage. It's a little more than what I was expecting to take from Life Orb Kyurem B's Earth Power, so that would be about right. So here, I'm gonna click Wish, because if he suspects he's faster, he's just gonna click Earth Power again, get rid of Jirachi. If he does anything else, he's not gonna set up rocks. I don't really care if he wants to try to get up a T-Spike or something. So if I'm not dead, it's because he switched, and with a Wish Up, I'll have a little more maneuverability to handle whatever he switches into. So he switches into Honchkrow, and I'll throw up the Wish. And I'm a little scared here. I didn't really consider Honchkrow much in prep. I think it gets Swords Dance. That's a bad sign. I can't even tell you offhand if it gets Swords Dance. I played it like it gets Swords Dance. I'll have to look this up after the fact and see if it actually does get Swords Dance. But basically here, I know it gets Sucker Punch, and if it's at +2 with Sucker Punch, I might actually be in a lot of trouble against this Honchkrow. So the thought here is, okay, if he does go for Night Slash or whatever, I lose Jirachi. Good play. I'll have to go for Iron Head just to try to get damage in case he does go for a Swords Dance, and then I can try to play around it from there. Probably go into Incineroar to get off the Intimidate, and be able to revenge because I'm Scarfed, because I'm not really afraid of Sucker with Incineroar. So that's what I'm thinking here when I click Iron Head. With Z-Power, he's going to use Supersonic Sky Strike. I'm going to live on a Sliver by some amount of luck. And we're making it. I didn't quite pause that in time. Here it's the same thought for me of, okay, did a good amount to Honchkrow. He's probably going to Night Slash. It's probably going to be bye-bye for Jirachi. Yeah, probably going to be bye-bye for Jirachi, but I can revenge this. He goes for Superpower, which makes me think he might not even had Night Slash, because it actually was a pretty... Like, all around, it was probably better than Superpower on that turn, unless he really was expecting to catch Incineroar on the switch-in. But we get him, and he's going to go into Charizard Y, and I'm going to again attempt to sack off the Jirachi, and this time I'm actually going to. And then here I can go out into Incineroar. I didn't run the calc that I probably should have, but here we are in a pretty good place. I think Flare Blitz is probably going to take down a more offensive Charizard under the sun at this point. And it's definitely going to... It should probably cleave through the Nidoqueen. Just wipe it out. And it should do probably about half to Rotom Wash, which means that it'll put Rotom Wash in range of the Kingdra. And if he does stay in, then he's really pressured to defog with Rotom Wash, or else his Charizard can't come back in, and I just get to set Rain and start hitting things with Spec Surfs and Dracos and stuff like that. So I'm going to click Flare Blitz here, and he's going to go out into the Rotom, and it's going to take a ton of damage from this, a nice 42%. We get the burn, which is lucky, but even better for us if you didn't catch that, he was holding an eject button, which actually does make some interesting sense, especially against Rain. He could have pivoted that in, taken a hit, pivoted back out into Zard to get his weather back up and neutralize a Rain threat. So I thought that was a really cool bring as a way to neutralize any bit of a threat that Kingdra was going to be if I did manage to get it in under some nice rain. So he definitely, with the presumed Assault Vest on the Azumarill, I just noticed that my cursor's suddenly showing up. I'm confused, but... well, I wonder how long that's been around for. But yeah, so between his two waters, he had some good checks for the rain, and it just kind of sat in the back, waiting for stuff to get weakened. But he pivots out to Nidoqueen, and here I can Flare Blitz. I'm Scarfed, take it down. He's going to go back out into Rotom, and we'd seen that did enough. And that actually takes me down to 1 HP exactly. So finishing off with the Flare Blitz on Charizard is going to bring both of these Pokemon down. All the Sifra left, Sifra join, Sifra left, Sifra join. I have kind of just left this open and connected and disconnected and connected and disconnected and connected and disconnected, and so on. Kind of weird when you look at it like this, the amount that I've come back into this and been like, oh yes, I want to watch me win that again, just one more time. That's because that's exactly that. I mean, that's not what I was doing. I definitely wasn't doing that. But all in all, really good week 1 matchup. Always fun to go up against Brian. Curious how the game would have gone if I didn't get the Pelipper play right turn 1, because I got rid of Cobalion with a pretty risky play that would have kind of neutralized the threat of my Rain, and maybe freed him up to do some other stuff with his Rain checks, and especially with Kingdra, it probably would have ended up just being a bad attempt at a check to his Charizard Y, which was revealed to have Dragon Pulse. So it would have been a very bad check to that. But good week 1. Looking forward to my week 2 matchup coming up. Haven't looked into it too much, but hopefully we can see we can see Dragonite shines. I was going to say some more, but maybe even see the field at all. Him and Kingdra, my two dragons, just kind of sat there taking up space and looking pretty. So maybe they can actually show what they can do next time. Thanks for listening, as always. See you next week.